Hello, welcome back. I am so excited to see you again, or see you. I am excited to be announcing to you a new series I'm going to be starting called Back to Eternity. You might remember the Back to the Future series from the 80s with Michael J. Fox. This will be nothing like that. We're going to be taking some clues from Genesis because I really believe that Genesis gives us some clues about you and I's life on our way to eternity and what God's intention for eternity was from the beginning. You and I are eternal beings. Isaiah 46:10 tells us that God declares the end from the beginning. See, anytime you get a prophetic word, it's always going to be the end game. It's going to be the picture of what that looks like. And then we go back to the beginning. We go back to the starting point. We start working that out. We start laying out the process of getting to that promise. And sometimes, quite frankly, that promise can be months, years, or even generations down the road. But we still have a responsibility to steward what God has told us. And I believe that we have a responsibility as well to steward the things, the truths that God has given us in Genesis and carry them out in our own lives. Ecclesiastes 3:11 and 12 says that God has put eternity in our hearts, right? And it tells us that no man can know what God has done from the beginning to the end. Now, this kind of blows my mind. God is a planner. Now, I'm a planner. Like, I can look a long ways down the road and I can kind of lay out the plan. I like my ducks in a row. God, years and thousands of years, God has this plan laid out. Billions of people, all these different, like this massive, massive chess game. And he's got it all because he's God and he's timeless and he's eternal and we can trust him. So imagine that if God can do that for the entire world, he's got it in the bag for you. And I want to encourage you with that, right? And you might be looking at the world around you, maybe globally, nationally. It's been a rough month personally. And you might be saying, God, what are you thinking? And I would pose to you, God is not the author of confusion. He's not the author of murder and violence. He's not the planner. He didn't intend for the earth to be groaning with the intensity that we're seeing. But God has an end game in mind, and there's always a plan of redemption. Always. But here's the thing with the end game. You and I have a part to play in it. Now, part of that assignment we can find in Isaiah 61, which is one of my favorite scriptures. It says that the Spirit of the sovereign Lord is upon me, it's upon you, to declare good news, to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to captives, and open prison doors to those who are bound. And it can be a little bit overwhelming, except for when we recognize our assignment. Now, part of my assignment right now is releasing this word to you. And I always kind of question the Holy Spirit a little bit when he tells me this, because I feel like there's so many voices out there, both, dark and light, speaking right now. And there's a lot of confusion, but that's why we need clarity. And that's what I hope to bring you is some nuggets, some truth, some encouragement that will help you find clarity in your assignment. And speaking of clarity, the Holy Spirit is so good. God is amazing. How he just brings circumstances in our lives to confirm what he's telling us. See, I've been wrestling with this for a few weeks, just trying to figure out, God, what does this look like? So this morning, I went to Costco to pick up a pair of glasses that I had ordered, and I was in a little bit of a hurry. I had to pick up 2 items, and I had to get back. I wanted to get back home. So I go to the optical department at Costco. I pick up my glasses. I put them on. They fit and everything. And then I start walking to the back of the store to pick up the items that I needed. Well, as I'm walking, I realize I can see directly in front of me, but if I even flinch to the left or the right, all of a sudden the vision is blurry and it's fuzzy. And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I just need to get, like used to the prescription or something. I didn't know what was going on. So I pick up my items, and by the time I get back to the checkout counter, I have eye strain. Like, it's starting to hurt. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do this. I got to be able to wear these for more than 10 minutes at a time. So I go out of the store, go back in, go back to the optical department. Well, the first optician that I talked to, she looks at the prescription, she looks at the glasses, and she's like, no, everything looks right. It looks like it was all keyed in correctly. She said, I'm going to have you go talk to the optometrist. And this whole time I'm thinking, God, I don't have time for this. but I had to deal with it. So I go into the optometrist, and they were very kind. They were very helpful. They were trying to, okay, is it the material on the lens, which didn't make sense to me. They were looking at the prescription. They were trying to figure it out. Didn't get any headway in there. So the assistant walked me back out to the optical department. She said, maybe there's something up with the field of vision. I go to the optician, the second one. She pulls my glasses off. She looks, and she goes, let me try something. She moves the little iPads like minuscule amount. I put my glasses back on, and seriously, I think that I have probably never had a pair of glasses that are this clear and this crisp. It was amazing. It is amazing. Just a tiny adjustment brought clarity to my vision. And you know what? Sometimes in our lives, when we're trying to figure out our assignment or we're walking in our assignment, you have an enemy, you have an opposer that wants to bring confusion, that wants to bring just weariness and a lack of clarity. And what I'm praying is that these thoughts from Genesis to Revelation will help you find the clarity. They help you find nuggets that bring clarity. They strengthen you. They exhort you, because we have an end game. God has put an end game in front of us, and we don't have much time. You have an assignment. Let's get to it. And I want to help you. I want to walk with you. I want to make sure that we cross that finish line in victory. So I love you. I will see you next week. I'm going to be trying to post these on Tuesdays and Thursdays. No promises. I'm going to shoot for that. And I will see you next week. For you Washington State residents, I just want to reiterate, I will be down in Olympia on the 29th and the 30th of September. That's next Monday and Tuesday from 1 to 3 at the Tivoli Fountain. We're going to be praying for Washington State. I am tenacious. I am tenacious. I am contending for a state that is the picture of righteousness and justice. All right, so if you can join me, that's great. If not, I know it's short notice, then pray with us from wherever you're at. All right, I will see you next week.